It's been quite a week on Capitol Hill, so let's go through what we learned and where this impeachment inquiry stands. On Monday, Charles Kupperman, a former deputy national security advisor, didn't show up for his planned testimony, instead asking the courts to decide if he has to testify. That decision won't be for at least a month. We also learned that White House officials were warned as early as May about the, quote, shadow policy Rudy Giuliani and Ambassador to the EU, Gordon Sondland, were pursuing in Ukraine. On Tuesday, Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman, the Director of European Affairs for the National Security Council, provided some of the most damning testimony so far in this probe. And just yesterday, lawmakers heard from Tim Morrison, a former White House national security advisor who backed up Ambassador Bill Taylor's testimony that there was, in fact, a quid pro quo. That happened on the very same day that we saw the first full House vote in this impeachment probe. Here to discuss, A.B. Stoddard, associate editor and columnist at Real Clear Politics, Jason Johnson, politics editor at TheRoot.com, and Amie Parnes, senior political correspondent at The Hill. Jason, now that the resolution has passed, how do Democrats play this?
They're going to have hearings. They're going to make sure they put their strongest people forward in the hearings. They're going to try and avoid as many Corey Lewandowski moments as possible. It looks like most of the people who've come forward seem to be career civil servants who aren't trying to get reality TV shows or book deals, except maybe John Bolton. And I think they've got a fairly simple path forward. Unless there's some horrendous scandal about one of these people coming forward as a whistleblower, they have a pretty straight shot. And I don't think this is going to be like health care, right? I don't think where it's a lot of Republicans, voted for health care, then John McCain said, no, I don't like the final bill. I think most of the Democrats who voted to go forward with impeachment are probably going to vote for impeachment when it's all said and done. So they've got a pretty clear path for now.
Amy, Justin Amash, former Republican, now independent, and voted for a resolution, is calling on Republicans to step up. He wrote this moments before the vote. Step outside your media and social bubble. History will not look kindly on disingenuous, frivolous, and false defenses of this man. Obviously, Republicans did not listen to him yesterday, but could this sentiment strike a chord as this thing moves forward?
I don't think so. I think everything right now, Stephanie, is baked in the cake. You don't see any movement. You saw two Democrats voting with Republicans. I think for the most part, Democrats will remain one unit and Republicans will remain one unit. And I think that's going to be how it's going to be. I think the big question is, and I think Pete Buttigieg brought this up yesterday, he said, it's better to take it to President Trump in the ballot box rather than throw him out completely. And I'm curious to see if more Democrats feel that way as this plays out.
I think that is the wrong messaging. This is not. This is an example after the president told us in an interview with George Stephanopoulos he was going to take Oppo research from a foreign source if it was available to him, and he was willing to abuse his power. This is about the next election. The next election will not be fair and it will not be free if the leader of the free world is inviting help from a foreign government and extorting military aid approved and appropriated by the Congress more than a year ago, so almost a year at the time. This is it might not be politically popular. They might lose the House. They might lose the White House. But it is about normalizing this conduct. If Republicans stick with this, they are saying that a private, unaccountable citizen like Rudy Giuliani can run their own foreign policy at the instruction of the commander-in-chief and for political purposes in violation of our national security objectives. It is normalizing things that we've always said were impossible to defend.
All right, Jason, the Washington Post is reporting that the president has abandoned the idea of releasing proposals to combat gun violence. This is something he repeatedly said he would do. He said it over and over throughout the summer. This is at a time when Republicans say that Democrats are obstructionists who do nothing. We know that there are over 300 bills sitting on Mitch McConnell's desk. Even if the majority of those bills are right in line with Democratic values, gun violence isn't. What is the president doing here?
He's throwing a temper tantrum. I mean, he's basically like...
It serves whom?
It serves him because he's angry. I mean, that's what this all boils down to. He does not believe that he has been treated respectfully. He does not believe that he's been treated fairly, and he's not going to do anything that he sees as being remotely appealing to the Democrats or anybody else unless he gets his way. That is how this president operates.
How about the American people? You've got over 90% of the American people who support background checks.
That's been the case.
What did a suburban mom do to him?
They haven't done anything to him. They didn't vote for him enough in 2018. That's the
But
other reason why he's angry.
White suburban mothers did.
They did in 2016. In 2018, they flipped. And that's what he's angry about. And look, here's the problem that I think that the Republicans are in trouble with. And Stephanie, you're making sort of the clear point. Donald Trump isn't providing them with other messages that they need. Donald Trump right now should be like, let's do infrastructure. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's move the conversation beyond impeachment. Let's make Democrats look dumb for trying to impeach me right now. And I have to say this about Mayor Pete. Look, he's about 6 months behind on messaging. That was Nancy Pelosi this summer. The idea that we got to get rid of Trump at the ballot box is a failure because of what AB said. He's going to cheat. Donald Trump needs to give Republicans something else to talk about, and by getting rid of gun control bills and everything else like that, he makes impeachment the only conversation that they can have.
All right, we're going to leave it there because we have a lot more conversations we need to have.